Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. I am the CHALL, and today Chall Chats Doncaster Rovers signing number 4 through the door. Billy Watters on loan from fellow League Two side Wrexham. So he won't play in the game in April against Wrexham. Of course, shout out to Tom from St. Louis. He'll be coming over to the EcoBar Stadium to watch that game. We'll get him on the vlog. But he won't play in that game against Wrexham. So apart from that game, he'll feature from now until the rest of the season at the very least. Now, on paper, a lot of negative reaction to this from Rovers fans. However, I'm going to explain to you the reasons why I would agree with them, but also why I don't agree with them and why I think it's a good signing. So, again, people might not like this nowadays, but I'm going to do what I've always done and play it straight down the middle when it comes to new signings, give you the positives, give you the constructives about what he can improve on while he's got his chance with us, and just talk to you basically about this signing. So, before we get started, make sure you do like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell so you never miss a YouTube video. We are on the road to 3,000 subscribers. So let's get there as soon as possible. I am so sorry this Euro Cup basketball review has been taking a while. I'm tempted to cancel it and move on to the next Euro Cup game whenever it's on next, but we'll probably announce that at some point on social media. So stay tuned for potential announcements to what's happening with that video. A couple of other videos that have been in storage for a long time now, the John Ryan podcast, a couple of others. Again, we're still waiting to release them. However, just things have been coming on top of one another, and we're trying to find the time to do it, and trying to find the time to finish it off, and finish off all these videos and get them up as soon as possible. So please bear with me. I do apologize. We will get there as soon as possible. I promise you, will come out this year. All of them that I've got in storage at the moment will come out this year. I promise you. Also, guys, stay tuned for more content for the rest of the week and the rest of the season. When we look at the weeks remaining in this month, we've got Newport on the Saturday, Wigan on the Tuesday night. We've got Bradford the following Saturday. I'm on the train for that one, so I can't wait to get down to Valley Parade. Got the ticket, got the train tickets. Can't wait. Day after that, Sheffield United, West Ham in the Premier League. Day after that, Brighton and Wolves in the Premier League. Donny Stockport at home on the 27th. And then just before Nottingham Forest Arsenal in the Premier League, we've got the Royal Rumble, which will be reviewed on the same day as Forest Arsenal. So then, before we get started, please like, comment, subscribe, do all the usual, and let's get straight into this video. So then, this is all about Billy Watters, and this is a little bit about him. So obviously, he's got numerous spells of experience within the Football League. I'm literally just bringing up his stats page at the moment. So he's got numerous experience around the Football League with a few different clubs. Obviously, he's a current Wrexham player. Obviously, he came to Wrexham from Barrow, where I think he had, in my opinion, one of his best spells. When you look at his other experience as well, you look at Newport, Northampton, down in the non-leagues with Torquay and Halifax, Cheltenham, Cambridge, Crewe Alexandra Youth Academy product. He came into the Crewe side as well after a couple of years before moving to Cheltenham. In terms of his contract situation, he runs out in 2025 with Wrexham, so he'll have a year left by the time the summer hits with that one. Now then, some stats about the player and about the signing itself. So we know that he's signing on loan for the rest of the season. We know it's a deal until the end of the campaign, and then he goes back to Wrexham. They'll assess the situation. In my opinion, I think if it's successful, I think we have a chance of getting him for a minimal fee with a year left in his contract this summer. That's if it goes well. If it doesn't go well, he'll move somewhere else. And it's one of them try before you buy deals. I'm not going to write it off straight away. I'm one of those that will never write off a deal straight away, and I will look at the positives, look at the constructives, and say good luck. But I'll never write off a player before a ball's even been kicked, and I know that's what many fans have done. I'm not going to complain at them for doing that, but because they can do what they want. But I'm one of those fans that will never write off a deal before a ball's been kicked, and Billy is experienced, and people have been crying out for experience, believe it or not. It's a kind of magic. Billy's got experience. He knows the leagues. He knows the Football League. He knows the National League. He knows the current bottom three divisions, National League, League Two, League One. So he knows these divisions and he knows what it takes to compete in these divisions. People saying, well, it didn't, he weren't getting much at Wrexham. Well, that's because he didn't suit the style at Wrexham, and because you think of Billy Waters, right? He's an attacker, right? And he's best as a winger. So we've got pretty much a winger on this one. So we've got a permanent, well, a loanee that, but I think if it works out, it could be a permanent in the summer. A loan to potential permanent experienced winger, and he's going to go probably on that left-hand side. He's going to go on that left-hand side opposite Molyneux. So you're going to have Luke Molyneux, Joe Ironside, and you're going to have Billy Watts on the left. So you've got an experienced front three there. And then you've got Mo Fowl, Carl Hurst to learn off. You've got, Tamogo Kulea, who come back from his loan in February, who can learn off the likes of Billy and Luke and people like that. John Taylor coming back as well for the rest of the season. So you've got a few people coming back, and you've got people for the younger ones to learn off, including Billy. So he's experienced. He's better as a winger. I think I've learned that from Wrexham fans. He's better, and Barrow fans as well. He's better as a winger and not as a striker or attacking midfielder. He can play in those positions if need be, but it's not his strongest position. In my opinion, looking at some of his highlights and from what Wrexham and Barrow fans have been saying to me, he's better as a winger. So I would think the left or the right side, either way, either side as a winger. And I think this will allow us to stop playing Mo Fowl as a winger as well. And I've said that Mo Fowl isn't a winger. I've said to his face that he's not a winger. And I said he's much better as a forward. So, I think this allows Fowl to compete with Ironside to play up front and not be shoehorned into that winger position anymore. I think with Hurst injured still, or not fully back to full fitness, despite appearing on the bench, with Kulea now out on loan, we needed a permanent winger, or we needed a winger of some kind. And I think Billy Waters hits the key perfectly in terms of the experience we need to get in this window. He's been described, and I'll shout him out here, Daniel from Birds of Blue, Barrow fan channel. Shout out to you, Dan. Described as a fox in the box. And you know what? That's the kind of attacking player that we kind of need. We need, we've got Ironside, who's this target man. He does the build-up play, tries to get in the right areas, wins the aerial stuff, does things on the ground. You've got Luke Molyneux, who's very much a cut-inside winger, quite direct. You've got John Taylor, who's a pacey winger, experienced. You've got Carl Hurst, who's full of pace. He's, again, another proper, direct, pacey winger. Then you've got Billy Waters, who's a fox in the box type winger or even an inside forward. So you've got this player who's got this experience, and you've got this guy who didn't work out in the Wrexham team and needed game time because, Billy Waters, let's put it into context about the whole Wrexham game time thing this season, right? He was competing for a place with the likes of Paul Mullin and Stephen Fletcher. I mean, do me a favour. No offence to Billy, right? But with how Paul was performing and how Stephen Fletcher was performing, he was not getting into that Wrexham side consistently week after week. Excuse me. He wasn't going to get in that Wrexham side week in, week out. He got a few games in the league, just didn't work out overall. He is a hard worker. That's one of the main positive traits. He is a hard worker. One of the main constructors with Billy, and I think this comes down to the physicality of the league and how he can adapt in this squad with the physicality of League Two. He gets bullied off the ball quite a lot, and I think that's one of the main things we've got to keep an eye out for here. And I think one of the things Grant will work on with him in training, and that's his physical presence as a winger. And wingers have to have this physical presence, especially in League Two, when you've got this physicality to deal with. And I think, in my opinion, League Two is probably the most physical league, along with the non-leagues and the grassroots in English football system right now. I think League Two is the most physical professional league, senior league in English football, arguably. And, the amount of physicality you have to deal with, especially as an attacking player that's supposed to be a winger, where you put crosses in the box, you take on the channels, you take on your man, you go on 1v1 situations to put cross in the box, shots for yourself. Physicality is something that Billy has to get used to. And I think he had to get used to that at Wrexham. He had to get used to that at Barrow as well. And I think that Billy's got the opportunity here to learn from some of our coaches to deal with the physical presence that he's going to get while on the counter for us. And that's something they're going to have to work on in training. And I've got no doubt they'll try and work on it as much as they can. I've got no, qualms about it that Grant McCann and his coaches will work on with him in training, the physicality side of it. But that's one of the main things he needs to work on for me. His ball control under pressure and his physical stance about how he physically gets bullied off the ball sometimes. And he needs to work on that. But I've got no doubt that Grant McCann and his coach will work on that for the rest of the season with Billy. So there we go. So that's just some positives and some constructives. Overall, on paper, were there better options out there for the winger position, either on loan or permanently? I think so. However, am I upset about this signing? No, I'm not. Because there are traits in there that we did need. We needed a bit more experience. We needed a winger. We needed someone who's a hard worker who can get that squad firing again. You needed someone who's a great presence on and off the pitch. You needed someone who's great with the fans, because if you have a player that has all the talent but has a stinking attitude, it's just going to rot the place out, and sooner or later, rot flies to the surface. And it's like fungi on a rotting building. It'll just spring up over the rooftop and it'll just show up for everyone to see, like it was The Last of Us all over again. So you don't need players that are rotten to the core in terms of their attitude. You need someone who's a hard worker. You need someone who's going to be great with the fans. And Billy Waters, from previous experience speaking to Wrexham fans and Barrow fans, does fit that bill. As a player, fox in the box, you need someone to sneak in there at the right place at the right time. Because if Ironside's too deep as a striker, and you need that winger to be that fox in the box and sneak into the box and be on the end of some of the crosses from other players that are involved in the attacks, then you need that kind of player. You need that right place, right time fox in the box. Look at Lucas Perez when he was at Arsenal. He was described as a fox in the box. We saw that a few times. So, and I'm not describing the levels, obviously, because it's completely different ends of the scale. Arsenal to Doncaster Rovers. But what I'm talking about here is an example of Perez when he was at Arsenal. He was described as a fox in the box. And I think Alexis Sanchez as well, fox in the box. And he's a little pest. So Billy Waters for me is that fox in the box winger, and I think he appears in the right place when he's not on the crossing duty of certain attacks. So there are positives in there. There are also constructives to work on, such as physicality, his physical presence, how he deals under pressure, how he's dealing with his ball control under pressure, how he deals with defenders and midfielders trying to bully him off the ball, because people will take note of this signing and look at the physical side of that signing and know that there's a market there to take him out of the game. So they'll work on that in training, and I'm sure they'll work on that in training. But on paper, in terms of the experience he brings, the hard work, the characteristics off the pitch, I would say on paper, this is probably a 6 out of 10. I think a 6 out of 10 signing. And when I look at the other three signings, I mean, I didn't get a chance to rate them in the videos. I think Connor Carty was a 6 out of 10 with the potential he's got, but also the lack of English football senior experience he's got. With Jay McGrath, again, 6 out of 10. Former academy lad comes back to full circle moment. Good potential, strong physical young defender, however, needs senior EFL experience. And then Matthew Craig, I would have said a 5 out of 10 because of the potential he's got near the Spurs team. However, again, this is his first senior loan and needs that experience. So on paper, you're looking at average to a little above average signings for January. And to be honest with you, I think with the club in the position that we are, where we're 19th in League Two, I weren't expecting, top draw. I know Grant McCann's got a brilliant pulling power, but I was expecting a certain quality and maybe go above that with the pulling power that Grant McCann's got. There are traits in there with these players that, for me, deliver decent signings if they work out at the end of the season. But we'll see what happens. And all I can do as a fan is welcome Billy Watts to Doncaster Rovers Football Club, and I really hope it goes well, because, like I said, with a year left on his contract in the summer, you've got an opportunity to create a permanent deal here if it goes well. And, some of the people that are writing him off, they'll be saying in the summer, sign him up if it goes well. But then again, on the flip side, if it goes badly, they'll be saying, don't go near him, sign someone else. So it's going to go one of two ways. So for me, I just want to wish him luck and see what happens for the rest of the season, and just hope that it works out, because he's got the experience to be a part of this squad, and he needs that permanent move away from Wrexham, because it's just not working out for him in that Phil Parkinson side compared to where he was in the Barrow team. But there we go. So thank you very much, guys, for watching this video. Make sure you do like, comment, subscribe. All the upcoming content is coming very, very soon, so stay tuned for that. And for now, guys, I am the CHALL. Ta-ra for now.